fully muted. I was fully muted. Okay, let me start again. Hello everyone. Hello. I am I'm Kadesha, and it's so nice to be here again. I see quite a few folks that are new in the chat. So welcome to Rubber Duck Thursdays. Let me tell you, it happens so often that I'm muted. So the reason this happens is because my mic, it has a mute feature, and then also the streaming place that I'm using, it also has a mute feature. So typically I'll turn off one or the other, and sometimes I forget to turn one off. Anyway, so Rubber Duck Thursdays is essentially the stream where we come together, we build, we vibe, we answer questions, we learn from each other about AI, tooling, MCP, agents, all that stuff. And we just have a good time for an hour or so. I'm Kadesha, and if this is your first time joining, I so appreciate you joining, taking time out of your day to pop by with me. If you have work to do, this session is geared towards co-working style. So today we're gonna be, just seeing what we can find, seeing what we can do, seeing what we can find. It's definitely been a slower energy day for me. I know last week was also slower energy for me. This week is also slower energy. I don't know. There must be something in the air. Hi, everybody. Hi. Thanks for joining, guys. And I saw someone say, what is a rubber duck? Let me see if I can find that question. Hold on. Yeah. So what is a rubber duck? Of course, obviously. Oh no. It's up. Hold on. Obviously, this is a rubber duck. But in the software engineering space, a rubber duck refers to either a literal duck or just something that you talk to kind of figure out a problem that you're having. So developers often refer to talking to like an inanimate object as rubber ducking. And it really helps us to just parse and just think about the problem logically, step by step, and really explain what we're experiencing to someone else that doesn't know what we're talking about, right? So that's essentially what a rubber duck is. But apart from like having a physical duck here, that's what rubber ducking is. And so hence the name Rubber Duck Thursdays. So we're chatting, we're vibing, we are in it. So can you still hear me? I hope you can hear me now. I see that I'm fully unmuted. I did turn up a little bit of music there. We can hear you fine. Great. Thank you. All right. So as usual, we are going to hop into the changelog. All right. Listen, I typically get so distracted by music. So I turned on that background music because it's usually less distracting than the other one. But yeah, so if it's your first time joining, welcome to the stream. Do you have an app idea that you would love to build? I'm seeking ideas on what we can build together today. So if there's something you want to build, drop the idea in the chat and we can work on it together, okay? Just let me know. Otherwise, we're going to keep working on, the app that we've been working on together. All right, let me share my screen here. Entire screen. Also, how are your days going? How is your week been? How has your week been since we've been together last week? It's been an intense week for me personally, but how are you doing? How are y'all doing? I'm so curious. Let me know how is it going? I'm genuinely interested. Okay, so let's take a look at the GitHub blog, right? And if you've been on the stream before, I always love to go on the GitHub blog just to see what's going on in the GitHub world and what we've shipped, what we're working on. And we have shipped a lot this week. I know that for sure. There has been so many announcements coming out, but one really great blog post that came out just, I believe, yesterday is about spec-driven development with AI. So instead of, using the waterfall method or like writing a bunch of issues and all that jazz, the traditional spec-driven development, this approach uses AI and more specifically the spec kit that GitHub recently open source to build your projects for you. So this is the spec kit here. Yeah, it's like essentially spec-driven development in AI and how you can use AI tools to get that done. And yes, you can most certainly use this for your hackathon projects. It's definitely geared towards helping you, code more efficiently and code better with AI tools. And like building more robust products. So I know vibe coding, I really like vibe coding. I'm really into it. But vibe coding is really for building that initial MVP of the product. There's so much more that goes into an application before you actually ship it to users. And so Spec Kit aims to provide a solution for you to be more specific and following a more engineering process when you're building with AI tools. And so I would encourage you to check that out. And so check out that blog post on spec-driven development with AI tools. It's really, really good. I'll drop the linky here. Though, if you go to the GitHub blog site, that very first tile will be this blog post. Oh, never mind. That's not what I wanted to do. Maybe home. Yeah. So this very one here will be that blog post. So definitely check that out. I also know that my coworker Andrea recently shipped a blog that was very interesting. Let's see if we can find it. Maybe is it under developer skills? August 26. Yeah, I think. Rediscovering Joy in Learning by Jason. That's great. That's not the one I was thinking of though. Andrea, if you don't know Andrea, she's incredible. Make sure to follow her on LinkedIn as well. She posts incredible content always. There was one she wrote about Java recently that was very good. As you can see, she writes a lot of blog posts. Oh wow, that was in March, so it wasn't very recent. Never mind. But this one that she wrote recently on how to integrate GitHub Copilot coding agent into your workflow was also excellent. How many of you are using coding agent? I'm so curious. Hey Morgana, thanks for coming back. Always love to see you and everyone else. So you guys are telling me that your week has been great and it's been wonderful. That's amazing. It's been a festive week here in India. Oh, that's cool to know. That's good to know. Jamila said it's also been an intense week for them. I hear you. This is the way, right? Took another break from a massive project to start another massive project. The thing is, we got to learn to ship the projects. You know what I mean? I too have the same problem. I take a break from one project to go to another project, and then my projects just live in my editor and on my GitHub. And it's like, you should actually ship the things that you build. So I completely understand that. All right, so let's go to the changelog. There are so many other blog posts that you can check out, but let's look at the changelog because we have been busy here. We have been so busy. Okay, so this was just shipped today. One-click merge conflict resolution now in the web interface. That's incredible. That's really good. So now we can accept current changes, incoming changes, or both. So we no longer have to, clone the PR to our machines and then go through that, or go to a code space and then go through the merging and then merge it in. We can now do this on the GitHub UI, which is excellent. I think that's excellent. So that's a really good ship there. We had some improvements to Spark. This is the one I was trying to do last week, but I just couldn't get it to work. but hopefully I can show it off to you today. So auto model selection is now in VS Code for Copilot Business and Enterprise. So this means based on your prompt, GitHub Copilot will, choose a model to address that issue. So currently it works with GPT-5 Mini, GPT 4.1, Claude Sonnet 4, and Sonnet 3.5. But I think this is, and also GPT-5, but I think this is a really good direction, right? Because I want to be able to, just put in my request, send it off, and have Copilot intelligently choose the model to use to address the problem or to address the prompt that I'm sending. So that's incredible. Hopefully we can look at that today. Let's see the comments here. Trying Copilot. Copilot is good. Great. So make a whole AI thing. Okay. Okay, great. Yeah. If you have any project ideas that you'd want me to build today, let me know in the chat. Happy to build it once we get through the changelog stuff. But how cool is this? I think auto model selection is really, really great. I'm going to leave this open because I want to show you what that kind of looks like. And we're going to be seeing it for the first time together. Okay? We're going to be seeing it for the first time together because I haven't tried it out yet. Let's see what else we've shipped. Start a new repository with Copilot Coding Agent. Interesting. Where is that one here? Start your new repo with Copilot Coding Agent. So if I create a new repository, Copilot Coding Agent is going to be there. Jumpstart your project with Copilot. Oh, yeah. So right now, if you create a new repository, you can submit a prompt to Copilot Coding Agents. It can jumpstart that repository for you. What do you think about that? I think that's interesting. Okay, we can try that out together today. On a new repository page, enter your prompt in the new prompt field. After the repository is created, Copilot will open a draft pull request, write the requested code, and then request a review from you. Oh, that is interesting. Let's give it a go. I'm gonna leave this open as well so we can try it. I do like that. It's a lot. Anthropic Claude Sonnet 4.5 is in public preview. This happened really quickly. So as soon as Anthropic dropped 4.5, we also dropped 4.5 in Copilot. So I think that's something that's very important for you to know is we're always adding the newest, latest, and greatest models with the swiftness into GitHub Copilot so that you have them available in your editors. Someone says not audible. Can you not hear me? I think I'm pretty good. Maybe there's something on your end, but I think I'm good now. I think my audio is good now. But yeah, so Anthropic Claude Sonnet 4.5 is in public preview for Copilot Coding Agent, but it's also available in agent mode in VS Code. And with GitHub Copilot, regardless of the IDE you're using. Premium request analytics page. Okay, secret scanning updates. Copilot Coding Agent now remembers context within the same PR. GitHub Spark is in public preview for enterprises. There's been some security updates to NPM. And so much more has shipped in the past week alone. Copilot can create issues with code snippets in public preview. That's interesting. What does that mean? Let's take a look. And then there's also the upcoming deprecation of the GH Copilot CLI. So we recently launched Copilot CLI, right? The GitHub Copilot CLI, which allows you to build, ship, and test applications in your terminals. And so with that comes, the natural deprecation of GH Copilot. If you remember, like a year ago, we shipped GH Copilot, which helped you with terminal commands, GitHub CLI commands, and like general shell commands, and also Git commands. And so we've expanded that to have, Copilot coding agent in your terminals via the GitHub Copilot CLI, right? So because of that, we are deprecating this. So it'll be sunset on October 25th. If you're still using that, that's something to know. So you can, uninstall it from your environment and go forth and build with the Copilot CLI. So Copilot can now create issues with code snippets in public preview. All right, you can hear me perfectly. Awesome. That's cool. So I can say, create a task. Oh, you can't really see this image, right? All right, that's not very good. All right. If you go to this link, you'll see the image isn't very good. The text is very small. But if you go to that link, you'll see where we can tell Copilot to create a task to remove a feature flag for the dashboard layout and include the relevant code, and it will create that issue for us. And this is from the Copilot UI on github.com, and also include code snippets that you can use. Yeah, and so we could try it out here. Cool. All right, so let's see what we can do. So let's start by looking at this new repository with Copilot coding agent thing. So I'm going to go to GitHub. And let's see. So if I do like create a new repository, choose myself as the owner. Let's just do like a simple Pomodoro or Pomodoro, which one is it? Timer. Let's make it public. Let's, of course, add a README, and let's just choose the MIT license. Oh, that's the ignore. Let's not do that yet. Let's just do the license really quickly. And now, you'll see it just pops up right here. So when did it pop up? Is it when I put the repository name or when I selected an owner? I'm not sure. But now you'll see that Copilot pops up here, and we can send it a prompt to start our project, right? So what do I said I was going to do a Pomodoro timer. Create a simple Pomodoro, I don't know. Something like that. Let's create the repo and see what happens. Agent task, what's this? Oh, so right now I have a pop-up of the tasks I've assigned to Copilot coding agent. That's cool. And right here, you'll see the work in progress issue that Copilot coding agent is working on for us. That's pretty cool. So this is actually a really great way to jumpstart a project or like a new repository that you're working on. So I don't know. That's pretty cool. But if you use this feature, it looks like you have a chance to win a gift card. So, if you want to enter for a chance to win a gift card, this is a pretty good incentive to give it a. Okay, so it's Pomodoro. Okay, Pomodoro. Okay. Not Pomodoro, Pomodoro. My bad. As we learned last week, I'm not very hip. So thank you for that. George says, is this HTML? So we don't have any type of coding on the screen right now. Right now, we are in a GitHub repository that we just created, and GitHub Copilot went ahead and took the initiative to create an issue for us, and it's actually working on implementing an initial starter for our prompt here to create a simple Pomodoro timer. Okay, great. So now it is going to use HTML, CSS, and JS, which is great because it's a simple enough application to do this for us. But I think that's pretty great. I think this is pretty good. So once it's finished, then we'll be able to see the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript on the screen that we'll be able to, take a look at, update, and all that jazz. But what do you think about the new repository flows? Like, if you want, when you create a new repository, you can send a prompt to Copilot Coding Agent to have it, jumpstart that project for you. What do you think about that? I think that's pretty neat. I think that's a really good use case for Copilot Coding Agent. So now you can do that. So go forth and do. The next thing is auto model selection is now in VS Code for Copilot Business and Enterprise. So I wanted to show you auto model selection last week, but I couldn't. But maybe this week I can. Let me remove my screen there and let me open up a project in VS Code. 1 second. I have to choose which one to open up. Bam, bam, bam. All right, let's go with the classic Advocat Hub, right? That's the one we've been working on. And I think I have some issues in the repo actually that we wanted to work on here. So let me find it, and then I'll bring everything up for us to take a look at. Alrighty. Boop. Okay, let's bring this back up here, and I will zoom in so you can see. Hopefully that's clear for you. What were we doing before? Not sure. Okay, looks like we added some testing configuration here. Okay. I'm gonna stash this. Let me just undo all the changes. I'm not sure what those are. Okay, so let's say I wanted to do something new in here. Down here at the model picker section, okay, we can choose auto. Can you see that in your VS Code yet? Now you can do auto. So instead of choosing one of these incredible models that are available to us, we can just do boop, auto. And so what do I want to do? Let's take a look at the issues that we have. So, I think this is something that we've done, enhanced content type and filtering last week. I think so. Let's see what else we can do. Or was it the implement integration and hub management tool? Okay, let me try to focus a little bit. So I can ask it to implement this one. Hold on, what issue number 5? So I do have, I do have the GitHub MCP server here that's already installed. The GitHub MCP server has so many tools. It's really a lot. So like if I re-enable it, you'll see like the tools call goes up to like 138 because there are just so many tools in the server. And we get a little warning that says you may experience degraded tool calling above 128 tools. But I'm just going to leave it for now, and I'm going to say, I can say something as simple as implement number 1 in issue number 5. And it's going to make reference to this. So this is issue 5. And this is number 1 here. So I'm expecting it to know to use the MCP server to fetch that issue and do the implementation. And I have auto selected here. So I'm curious which model it's going to select to do that work for us. All right. Just asking me to authenticate here. Let me just get that done. Authorize. Press key. All right. So that's done. Haven't tried that feature yet. Yeah, it's brand new. It's brand new. I'm just going through the comments here. All right. I see a question here that I would like to ping. But one thing I'm curious about is, because I have auto model selection enabled here, I'm curious what model it's using. Now it wants to run ZSH commands. Sure. Let's see. These are the steps that it's going to do. I'm really curious. Hold on. So in the change log, it says that optimizes for model availability. So you can see which model was used by hovering over the model's response. Switch between auto and any specific model at any time. And it honors all model policies set by administrators. Okay. So just hover over the response to see which model. Okay. So if I hover over something timed out, if I hover over like here, I'm not sure. Or hover over the code, or it's trying to check the build output here to see if it runs. I'm not sure. Do you see anything? Just got here. What are we doing? Welcome. So today I'm looking at this new feature that we just launched. So remember last week I was mentioning auto model selection is now available in VS Code. So that's what we're looking at today. So auto model selection allows you to just select auto in your IDE, and then GitHub Copilot will intelligently and intuitively select the best model to accomplish your task based on model availability. And so the models that are currently being toggled for this feature are GPT-5, GPT-5 Mini, GPT 4.1, Claude Sonnet 4, and Sonnet 3.5. And more models to come soon, but right now it's going to vacillate between these model options to get your work done. And you can see which model it chose to do the work by hovering over the model's response. So I was just trying to hover over the model's response to see, but maybe I need to wait until it's done. But that's what we're doing. And so right now I asked it to fetch issue 5 and implement the first task in issue number 5. And so it went ahead and ran, used the GitHub MCP server to fetch the details of the issue. And now it's trying to implement that here. But it looks like it's something's happening here. I'm gonna stop it. Yeah. And then I'll hit continue. Okay, so someone asked a question. So amid the whole AI thing, I'm still skeptical. So what would be the advantage of using AI to draft an idea versus doing it yourself? Wouldn't it be more beneficial to try and do it yourself? I'm curious what you guys think that are watching. How would you respond to this question? For me, I think it's okay to do it yourself. I think it's 100% okay to, write down your ideas, fill out your ideas on your own. That's totally fine. No one is saying you don't have to do it. I think one of the benefits with using AI to do it is the research component, right? So let's say you have this idea, like I want to build a Pomodoro timer to help speakers keep track of their time while they're speaking so that they don't go over time, right? So you can have AI do research for you on the web to see if this is a valid idea. Because one of the pitfalls is, like, after you've written out your idea, you have your idea, how are you going to validate it? You have to do research. So like you have to set up calls with people, read a lot of books or like read research papers to see if this is something that people would actually pay for. But these days you can use AI to do research for you about your idea. So there's no problem with using your own brain to kind of like document out and detail out your idea. But I think knowing how to use AI strategically to do some of these things, or to further build upon your idea, will help you go a long way. I'm curious what you're skeptical about. Is it like using AI, the ideas that AI generates, or is it using AI for coding, or where is this skepticism coming from? Okay. All right. So let's see what we have here. So if I hover over the response, I should be able to see what model it used. I'm not seeing that. Are you seeing that? Am I doing something wrong? I don't think so. Yep, so right here you see it says implemented issue number 5, item 1, content performance dashboard prototype. that's exactly what it is. It was able to fetch that issue for us using the GitHub MCP server. Yeah, and it added all these things. And it told us how to use it. Down here, right in this little tiny section right here, it says that GPT-5 implemented it right here. So with that auto model selection, it was able to choose GPT-5 to build that out for us. Okay. So we have optional engagement metrics. What else did you implement here? I'm curious if it would use a different model if I sent another request in the same thread. Let me start the app and see if it even runs. Do you ever have issues of losing context when switching between models? So I think you will lose context, not if you switch between models, because we can seamlessly switch models within the same thread. But if we start a new chat, the context is completely wiped, right? So that's why it's important to focus on doing one thing at a time, like use one thread to do one thing. So like, for example, this thread can be used to implement item number 1 in issue 5. And then when I'm ready to move on to item number 2, I will do a commit. And then I will start a new thread and I will move on to item number 2. So if you want to keep the context of what you're working on, I would say just like approach your work incrementally, step by step, so that you'd have a better experience. But when you're switching models, no. You can seamlessly switch models here and send your requests that way without losing context. Just keep your request scoped to like a singular feature or singular implementation would be my recommendation. So yeah, so that's how the auto model selection works here. I think that's pretty cool. I think this is a really good direction by the team, but it looks like there is an error. So unable to load your Astro config. Yeah, so it looks like there is an issue right now. This was running before, but it looks like there's an issue right now. Honestly, I'm not in the mood for debugging. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But let's see if I can send this over. I wonder what model Copilot will choose to help me debug this issue. So if I do /fix, there's a /fix command. I'm just going to paste the issue. I'm going to leave it on auto, and I'm just going to send that over. I wonder if it's still going to use GPT-5 again to attempt to resolve this issue. But again, you can always just read the error message to see what it's saying and fix it yourself. Okay, so there are questions in the chat about why would you still use GPT-4? Why wouldn't you just use one of the latest models? So it depends on what you're doing, right? So let's see. We can select a model that Copilot uses. I don't see a reason why someone would choose an older model. Wouldn't the latest model perform best? So yes, according to the the model lords, their latest models are the latest and greatest models. So for Anthropic, that is going to be Claude Sonnet 4.5. For OpenAI, that's going to be GPT-5 here. And most recently, GPT-5 Codex, right? Which they say is specifically tuned for agentic coding. And so it's 4.5 according to Claude, and Gemini 2.5, et cetera, et cetera. So why wouldn't you use the latest models over using these older 4.1 or 4.0? It depends on what you're doing. So like if you're using a model for coding, like in this case, of course, use the latest and greatest models. But if you're building an application that uses an LLM, to send a request and then to get something back for your users, I would say you would choose the most cost-efficient model, and you would choose the one that gives you, the most accurate results. It doesn't always have to be the latest and greatest models, because the latest and greatest models are going to be pretty expensive. So I would say, like, it's not like a blanket statement of like, oh yeah, just use the latest models. It depends on what you're doing. For of course, for coding like this, yeah, definitely if you have access, use the latest models. And if you run out of, like, say, premium requests, the other models are also quite sufficient. They are getting better really quickly, but if you're building an application and you're using an LLM, it depends on what you're building, your task, the goals, how much it costs per 100,000 or per million requests, right? So I wouldn't say it's so simple. At least that's my take on it. What's your take on it? Like, what's your take on it? That's my take on it. It depends. Like, I still use Claude Sonnet 4. I still use Claude Sonnet 4 sometimes. Even 3.7 is quite verbose, so I use 3.7 less often. I would use 3.5 over 3.7. But yeah, it all depends, right? The good thing is that we have access to so many models. And especially with GitHub Copilot, we can enable or disable whatever models we want. So like, I don't even have, let me enable all the models that we have in here. 3.5. Okay, so look at all these options, right? So we can play with as many as we want, honestly. And then it also depends on the type of plan you have, right? So 4.1, 4.0, and GPT-5 Mini looks like they are built into the freemium tier of GitHub Copilot. So like, if you're on the free tier of Copilot, then you have access to these models, right? And it's the same thing with any AI application in the wild. You don't always have access to the latest and greatest models because they're expensive. It's expensive, right? And so if you have like a pro, or I don't know, like a higher tier, if you're not on the pro plan, but if you're paying that $10 a month, you'll have access to more premium models like Claude Sonnet 3.5, Claude Sonnet 4, GPT-5, etc. So it all depends on what you have access to, honestly, and depends on what you're building. Model selection has been a really interesting topic. There's a lot of like confusion around, like, how do I know what model to choose? Why would I use this one over this one? Why wouldn't I use the latest and greatest? I think that's an opportunity for research on my part, research and writing, so I can answer that question. Like link you to a resource to read. Yeah, so some models are unlimited usage and others are limited by your token and limit your wallet. Yes, exactly. That is a really, really good way to say it. Like, I know a lot of Claude Code users complain about the token limits, especially since Anthropic has, I think they have introduced like a new thing that really causes people to reach their token limits super quickly, which is why I would encourage anyone to use the Copilot CLI. It's already included in your Copilot subscription, right? it also has a really cool banner. Let me exit. If I do Copilot -- banner, look at that. So cool. So I would encourage you to use the Copilot CLI because it does use, I think it's using Claude Sonnet 4, and you can also use GPT-5 with it to build. So if building in your terminal is your jam, we have a solution for that. If you're tired of, like going over your token limits with Claude Code. But yeah, it depends. It's not so black and white. So now it's telling me, okay, so it also used GPT-5 again to debug this problem. So I wonder if GPT-5 is like, that default. So it's just like giving me instructions on how I can debug this issue. Well, honestly, I'm just going to switch my branches and say goodbye to whatever changes on this branch because it looks like it's all messed up. I haven't been doing a very good job of making sure that everything stays clean. So I'm just going to, go to the main branch and create a new branch and start afresh. And it's going to keep moving. The point of today was to show you the auto model selection feature, which I think is pretty neat. I'll take older models with reliable results over any new model. Yeah. Sure, yeah. Any more questions? Let's see. Yep, I believe I'm gonna. Okay. I don't know how to read that. That's too much to read right there. Cool. Yeah. So I think that's all, folks. What are you guys working on? What are you building? I'm curious to know. Oh, great question. Is there a way to add your own models like Ollama? So if you go here, let me actually zoom in so you can see. Zoom in a little bit more. Just going to do that. So, okay. So if you click the model picker here and you go to manage models, you see Ollama here. You can add your API key. Hold on. Okay. There should be a pop-up. So you should be able to select your provider and add your API key. Open router. It'll say, add your API key. That didn't pop up for when I click on Ollama. You see that, right? That's something I'll bring back to the team so they can take a look at that. But yeah, Azure, you can even use your own API key for Anthropic to directly connect with Claude or one of the Claude Sonnet models that way. But yeah, you have a few options here to bring your own key, which is excellent. You can also configure modes here. So you can create a custom chat mode for GitHub Copilot Chat. Doing all that. I know that, let me find it for you. Beast mode, VS Code, Copilot. Burke Holland has a really good write-up on how to do something like a beast mode or just create your own custom modes with GitHub Copilot. So right here, he called his beast mode 3.1. So it's a custom chat mode for VS Code that turns your agent into a beast. Okay. And he has everything laid out here in a gist. that you can use. So I think this mode, let me see if he has like what it does. I think with this mode, it just like auto does everything. Like you don't have to continually select yes or I allow. It just runs for you autonomously. Yeah. So you can also do that. But yes, you can bring your own keys to use with GitHub Copilot. And with the with our coding agent, have you seen the coding agent? Have you seen Copilot coding agent? It's pretty neat. Let's see. Let me go into this project here. Make sure nothing's running. So I'm in this project. Let me actually run it. Let's see if it runs. Warning, found multiple log files. All right, I'll handle that. No, you know, I keep having this project. Every time I run a different project, this one pops up. I need to figure out what's happening. But I have this project here that will essentially take any YouTube video link and generate chapters for that video. So chapter creation is a headache for content creators because I do it manually using Adobe Premiere Pro. I think that video like is too long or too short. Let's try another one. Otherwise, I'll just go grab another one. But so to sit, okay, I'll just grab another one. I know if your video length is too short, I made it so that it doesn't work. Go to GitHub. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's try a different video. Boop. Please enter a valid YouTube URL. It is valid now. You guys, don't you hate when you're trying to show something and then it doesn't work? Come on. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah. Looks like there's a bug that I need to figure out. I don't have Copilot to look at that for me. You guys, it's not working. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start a new one here. Essentially, this app allows content creators to generate chapters for their videos pretty quickly using AI. So I'm going to start Copilot. And let's see if we can debug this issue, right? So I can actually send a screenshot to Copilot here. Whoop. And I can say the YouTube URL is valid, but I keep getting this error message. And now it's going to go forth and do. There are also a lot of slash commands here. Oh, I can't really use the slash commands while it's running. I'll show you those later. That's a really good question. Excuse me. It was built to work with the full link. It was built to work with the full HTTPS in front and everything. And so now, look at this. So Copilot CLI is attempting to use the Playwright MCP server to do some visual testing on its own to see if the feature isn't working. And so it just opened up this browser here. And it's going to paste in a link, click generate, and see what happens. I bet it's going to work for Copilot, even though it didn't work for us just now. But let's see what happens. There it is. It works for Copilot. So now Copilot is probably going to tell me this is working. So I don't know what's happening for you, but for me, it worked. But that's essentially how it works. And so now creators, you can essentially just export your formatted text here and just paste it for your videos. And you're good to go. This is actually a super helpful tool. I should actually ship it. You know how I was saying, what do you want? No, I don't want you to do that. But yeah, I was able to actually build this with Copilot, and I need to actually ship it. The reason I haven't shipped it is because the YouTube API implementation, I'm just using a Python package right now. And to make it more robust and actually production ready, I need to actually implement the YouTube API to get this done. But if I can get this shipped, that would be great because it's a really good tool. It's a really good tool. And as you can see, the chapters are very clear and all that jazz. Exactly. Eliminated hours of frustration. It is literally so true, George. Because I've had to do this in Premiere Pro and it's such manual work. It's such manual work. I see creators complaining about it all the time on Reddit. All right, so I don't really understand why it worked for Copilot, but not us. So, nope, that's text. Let me try again. This is actually a different video. And if you're not subscribed to, oh, okay, maybe it was the link. Someone said I should check to see if I, remove some stuff from the link. Okay, let's try this. But I know it doesn't, minimum duration, 120 seconds. The video is too short. It's like, oh, it's a minute. I'm gonna have to fix that so it generates for all video lengths. As you can see, it needs a little massaging. I'm trying to find a video. This is 5 minutes. Okay. Let's try this one. Oh my goodness. This demo is not demoing for me. You guys, why isn't it working? Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out why this isn't working. You can play the video you have locally. No, you cannot play the video locally. The one problem it solves is generating chapters, so it doesn't play the videos. I could make it link to the video, but it doesn't play the video now. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and figure out why it's saying the YouTube URL is not valid, even though it is. Let's see what's going on there. But yeah, so this is the Copilot CLI. You should definitely check it out. Look at all these really good slash commands that we've built in for you. You can also run, 2 sessions concurrently. You can add specific files to your prompt, right? You can add MCP servers, so /MCP. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. This was shipped last week, last Thursday, I believe. It was shipped last Thursday, and the reaction from the community has been pretty positive. So I hope you will go forth and build with it. But I think we've come to the end of our time together today. I know it was kind of a more chill stream. I didn't do too much building. Did you pray to the demo gods today? You know, I didn't. I did not. So I think that's probably what's happening. Someone says remove anti. Try that. Hold on. How did you know to do that? Wait, why? Why did that work? Let me show you. Let me show you. So Brian here said remove anti. Oh, let me pop this back up so you can see. So I remove anti and boom. Why? So it's here, right? So I guess this is the full thing that's telling us, oh, it's and time, maybe like and timestamp equal 5 seconds. Got it. That's what the issue was. So if I did, will it work? It should work because the app is working. It's like 100% working. I just need to switch out the Python package for the actual YouTube API implementation, and then it'll be good to go. Yeah, there it is. It works. Thank you, Brian. And so now I can copy all chapters, and then I guess if I go to the editor here, if I paste it, and see, now I can paste it. And chapters are really important for your YouTube videos, I'm learning. So now you have chapters for your YouTube videos that you can share for your followers or for your subscribers. You can see in here we have chapters. So essentially it automates this part, which is pretty good. But yeah, thank you, Brian. Thank you. But yeah, guys, it's been lovely. It's been lovely. I would love to know what you're building. Connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where I am mostly these days. I'm also on Insta these days as well, doing little viddies about tech and AI. I would love to start a series on maybe like explaining tech concepts or talking about stuff. I'm not sure what I want to do yet. Still trying to figure that out. But stay tuned. Thank you for the remove ANT tip, Brian. I will never forget that. And I appreciate you all joining me today. I hope you learned something. I hope you will try out the Copilot CLI, and I hope you will try out the auto model picker mode that's new, and give us your feedback, please. Honestly, we just want your feedback on all the things that we're shipping. As you can see, we're shipping a lot all the time, but this has been Rubber Duck Thursday, guys. I think I'm going to end our stream here. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.